calling me now. And that's the problem that I have with this whole situation. But I am going to save this conversation for Jay-Z. Jay-Z, you're watching. I know you're watching because you got people calling me. Stop having people call me. You can call me yourself. You know how to get my number. You know you got people calling me. Call me yourself, because this right here is going to go viral. The way my job works on the internet, everybody's going to be clipping, sharing on TikTok. Watch this.
Jason Lee, known for his deep connections within the entertainment industry, has come forward with claims that are already stirring controversy. He insists that he holds proof connecting Jay-Z and Beyonce to a death dating back around 15 years. Beyond that, he suggests that influential figures tied to the couple are working behind the scenes to prevent this information from ever reaching the public. The timing of these statements is drawing even more attention. The environment surrounding their extended circle is showing visible strain. A reported shooting incident linked to Rihanna's property, coupled with serious legal implications, has already heightened public scrutiny. Meanwhile, newly surfaced materials connected to the Jeffrey Epstein case, allegedly referencing both Jay-Z and Rihanna, have reignited conversations that many believed had faded. What once existed as speculation is now
Beyonce for sure. I love her. I love Beyonce. Jay-Z too, I really admire the both.
Being reframed as something far more immediate. The narrative is no longer centered on events from 2011 alone, but on what could soon emerge. The real uncertainty now lies in whether the individual claiming to have evidence will be able to present it, or whether external pressure will stop him before he does. The gunfire incident at Beverly Crest involving Rihanna on March 8th did not appear to be a spontaneous act carried out in the heat of the moment. Authorities allege that Ivana Ortiz, a 35-year-old speech therapist from Florida, deliberately traveled to the residence armed with a rifle and discharged multiple rounds while the artist and her children were present inside. She was taken into custody later that same day, formally charged with attempted homicide, and placed under a bail amount exceeding $10 million. However, the deeper details emerging from legal filings suggest something more calculated. Court documents submitted by Ortiz's estranged husband reference an email dated January 26, 2026, in which he allegedly issued a bizarre demand that he publicly reject Rihanna and declare her superior, rather than an isolated emotional collapse. The message reads more like a prelude, an early signal that went unaddressed in the weeks leading up to the attack. Further complexity comes from Ortiz's prior legal dispute involving Live Nation, the corporation connected to Roc Nation and co-founded by Jay-Z. This earlier conflict raises questions about whether the shooting can be viewed purely as an isolated act, or if it intersects with broader tensions tied to business and influence. At the same time, federal disclosures released under the so-called Epstein transparency measures have added another layer to the narrative. Materials linked to Jeffrey Epstein include an FBI intake note referencing Jay-Z in an unverified claim, alongside communication logs listing Rihanna among recent contacts. While the United States Department of Justice made clear that these documents consist of unverified submissions, their public release inevitably shifted perception. The effect was immediate. It placed both Jay-Z and...
To me, when I see him and Cassie together, I have a video somewhere on one of my Snapchats, them dancing through the house and having a great time, all love. I mean, I've seen Diddy have to hire extra security, almost the military, to stop people from wanting to scale the wall to get in his house, because on the other side of that wall is Beyonce, Jay-Z, and every big star you want to know. T.D. Jakes was there too, but I don't know if he was busting open. I'm just saying. Because they said that too.
Rihanna within the gravitational pull of a scandal already associated with Epstein and Sean Combs. Crucially, this disclosure surfaced just weeks before the shooting occurred. Whether or not there is any direct link, the sequence of events alter how the situation is interpreted. What might once have been dismissed as coincidence is now being viewed by some through a different lens, one shaped by timing, context, and the weight of surrounding narratives. What further distance the incident from the idea of randomness were the details surrounding the suspect's actions leading up to it. Police descriptions of the vehicle highlighted tinted glass, a temporary paper plate, and a heavily soiled underside, features that pointed toward deliberate concealment or travel through less monitored routes. As online communities began piecing together information, it surfaced that Ortiz had previously been involved in a legal dispute with Live Nation, the same corporation tied to Roc Nation, founded by Jay-Z. This connection, while circumstantial, quickly intensified speculation across digital platforms. Although the Los Angeles Police Department stated that motive remained under review, the known facts already challenged the narrative of an impulsive act by a lone individual. The earlier email sent to her husband pointed to forethought. The condition and setup of the vehicle implied preparation. Additionally, early dispatch recordings referencing a possible second individual raised questions about whether the event involved more coordination than officially acknowledged. With each new detail, the situation appeared less like an isolated outburst and more like a sequence of warning signs that had gone unnoticed or unaddressed, until escalation became unavoidable. Even before the shooting and the renewed attention brought by disclosures tied to Jeffrey Epstein, another thread had already begun to surface. Jason Lee, founder of Hollywood Unlocked, had started speaking publicly about the case of Kathy White. He claimed to possess undisclosed material and previously unheard information that could reshape public understanding of events dating back to 2011. While he did not immediately publish this material, his statements alone were enough to draw significant attention. According to Lee, increased scrutiny was followed by direct outreach. He alleged that individuals connected to Beyonce and Jay-Z attempted to discourage him from continuing, with what he described as escalating pressure that eventually turned into threats concerning his safety. Despite this, Lee publicly maintained that he would not withdraw. His position, however, created a tension that was difficult to reconcile. If his claims held truth, the alleged pressure suggested significance. If the pressure itself was real, it implied an effort to suppress something meaningful. Either way, the situation remained unstable, placing him at the center of a potentially volatile narrative. The overlap between Lee's claims and the shooting incident added a new layer of urgency to long-standing speculation surrounding Kathy White. She passed away on September 2nd, 2011, after being...
We know it's crazy rumors. I'm sitting here talking to you. So she was like, rumors follow me at this time a lot. And
transported from her Manhattan residence to Beth Israel Hospital, with her death attributed to a brain aneurysm. The timing drew attention, occurring just 2 days after Beyoncé publicly revealed her pregnancy with Blue Ivy Carter. At the time, a blogger operating under the name Hollywood Street King circulated claims suggesting that White had a personal relationship with Jay-Z and had allegedly considered making it public. The blog further cited an unnamed source within law enforcement who described the circumstances as questionable. A photograph showing Jay-Z alongside White and Claudia Jordan at a Las Vegas venue added a visible link that kept the discussion alive beyond anonymous posts. None of these claims were ever conclusively proven, yet they were never fully dismissed either. Now, with a violent incident and renewed allegations emerging at the same time, past speculation has been pulled back into focus, no longer dormant, but re-entering the conversation with a heightened sense of immediacy. What kept the older narrative from fading was its tendency to resurface in new contexts, each time carrying greater intensity. Jaguar Wright reignited attention during an appearance on Piers Morgan's program, where she leveled serious accusations against Jay-Z and Beyoncé. Among her claims were allegations involving coercion, along with statements that multiple individuals were prepared to come forward as witnesses. The interview itself generated headlines, but the aftermath proved even more significant. Reports indicated that Jay-Z's legal representatives reached out to request the segment's removal. That decision, rather than containing the situation, had the opposite effect. It transformed the interview into a larger story. For figures whose public image has long relied on precision, control, and limited response, the move was widely interpreted as a signal that the allegations were being treated as a serious threat. In public perception, the more forcefully the claims were challenged, the more curiosity they generated. Attempts to contain the narrative seemed to accelerate its spread. The removal of the Piers Morgan and censored segment became, for many, a form of validation rather than dismissal. At the same time, Jason Lee's statements about alleged pressure and threats placed him at the center of the unfolding situation, turning his role into one that carried its own risk and attention. Layered onto this was a shooting connected to Rihanna's residence, which, due to indirect ties to Jay-Z's business network,